ladies and lads? This is Civic Dude, and welcome back to Hypermine. Guys, this is the modded Minecraft server, and I think this is like episode 6 or 5, something like that. And I have done a ton of stuff. I wanted to show you guys kind of a progress report. First of all, Merry Christmas. I know this is Christmas Eve, so Merry Christmas, guys. Tomorrow's the big day. Hope you guys get everything you have on your Christmas lists and all the good stuff. And more importantly than that, I hope you have a good time with your families, hopefully. So, yes, get that out of the way early. And now, what have we done in the time between last episode and this episode? Let's go downstairs and take a quick peek. I have moved a bunch of stuff around, hooked up some more automation. I now have interfaces attached to these factories, which are basically auto smelting my ores now. So I have a bunch of export buses back here that export these ores into the factories. And so, for instance, this one is an enrichment chamber, so it turns the ores into crushed dust or the dust. And then this one right here is the smelter, which takes the crushed part of it and smelts it back into ingots. So twice the amount of stuffs. Twice the amount of ores. And then over here is a redstone furnace that I have hooked up to an ME interface to start with something that I will mention here in just a minute. But let's move on downstairs first. What is going on down here? Holy cow. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, indeed. This, ladies and gentlemen, is atomic science. And specifically within atomic science, this is a fusion reactor. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh man, I've seen Arnage's and Lone Wolf's fusion reactors, and I thought I've got to get on this power system. This just looks too cool and too much fun. So the way that it works is you have a fusion reactor that you feed deuterium in from these chemical extractors up here. So you feed water into chemical extractors, and then they pump out deuterium, and they pump it into the fusion reactor down here. And you can see now it has a little bit in there, and then when this thing has deuterium, it creates plasma, but it creates it 2 spaces out. So not the first space, but the second block space out. So for instance, right here, let's go downstairs so we can see. So 1, 2, this whole channel right here collects plasma. And then the electromagnetic glass and the electromagnets contain the plasma, so it doesn't leak everywhere and cause chaos and destruction and stuff. So the plasma, let me see if I can get this right. The plasma is contained by the electromagnets, and the electromagnets heat up and they heat the water that they're adjacent to, creating steam, which powers these reactor turbines, which then produce power. So for instance, each of these reactor turbines produces 100 MJ per tick, and they funnel that up into a thermal expansion tesseract. Now we also have a loopback energy cell right here to basically keep the fusion reactor powered at all times, so we don't ever have to worry about restarting the system or anything like that. Very handy. I think Lone Wolf was helping me figure out this little trick right here with the tesseract. We had to have a thermal expansion energy conduit feeding into the tesseract because it wasn't sending the energy signal for some reason. So we've got that resolved. Should be good to go there for a long time now. And now all I have to do is, 1, add more turbines around the outside here, and then I can build up a couple layers here because I can basically put water on top of these and then water on top of this layer. So I can get 2 more rows, or layers rather, of these turbines on this wing of the fusion reactor. And then once we've completed this wing, then we can move over to this side, knock out this block, and build another wing over here. So we'll get a nice L-shaped reactor, I guess, with even more turbines producing even more power. So once we fill out all of this, we're going to have more power than we'll know what to do with. So I'm very happy about that. It took a while for me to figure out how to lay this thing out, because I never used atomic science before, so I didn't know exactly how the what the properties of these fusion reactors are, so I didn't know exactly what I could and could not do. But I'm very happy with the way this is turning out. It's very, very powerful. And that leads me back upstairs to the next thing I wanted to show you, which also took a while to do. So you can see here we're feeding the power from downstairs up into here, and then powering all the machines. Now, we also did some rearranging of the base to make room for this guy. Whoa! The molecular assembly chamber. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. So now what this does is holds patterns that we have encoded onto blank patterns, and we can auto-craft stuff. So let's go back to this one. So you can see we can craft up a processor assembly. We can craft up a blank pattern if we want to. A piston. I think let's just make one of those real quick. So you can see, let's go to piston. We now have 2. And let's make one more. Now we have 3. Yeah. Cool. The really cool thing about this whole auto crafting thing is if you use a crafting monitor, you can see the items that it's currently crafting, what items it's taking to make that item, and then if it's missing any materials, it'll show you down here, so you don't have to guess. If you're missing some materials or something, you can just see exactly what's going on. So the really cool thing about this setup that I'm using, I kind of borrowed it from Armitage, so thank you Armitage for the idea, is we're basically exporting blank patterns into a pattern encoder, and then once I've encoded the pattern, they're imported into the ME system, at which point I'm then using a where is it? Right here, a fuzzy export bus to export any encoded pattern. So it won't matter what kind of pattern it is. Like, so it could be a pattern for piston, could be a pattern for a redstone repeater. It would export it into the assembly chamber, no problems. So that's really cool there. And then back into the redstone furnace here with this ME interface, you can see here that we have a pattern for the basic processor. What this does is, since ME interfaces are an on-demand kind of thing, if I craft a recipe, or I need or I have a recipe that I'm trying to craft up here. So for instance, if I wanted to craft a processor or something like a matrix that uses a processor, because I know how to craft the basic processor assembly and I have the furnace hooked up with the processor pattern, it will actually smelt a processor to use in this crafting, which is really, really cool. So it's going to help out with automating and shortening my hopefully my time while I'm crafting, which will be great. The next big thing that I want to do is start setting up some farms. So it'll be something like set up some tree farms down here, probably some animal farms to get some food. You can see I have a cow that just will not go away. I've been keeping him around for a while. And then we can get into some other types of farms too. So that'll be really cool. Let me show you this real quick. So the thermal expansion machines we have here are really primarily used for making the tesseracts. So you can see we have the redstone in there now, and that was used for making the energy conduit that I used down there. But if we put liquefied ender, I forgot what it's called, but let's see if we can find it real quick. It is resonant ender bucket. So that's just liquid ender basically. If you put ender balls in a crucible and then feed them into a transposer, it will fill buckets with ender fluid ender fluid. I don't know. And anyways, that's used in making of the Tesseracts. So those are really cool. I haven't done much in Thaumcraft since the last time. I really want to get back into that some more. Let's see. I made a radioactive hazmat suit, so that's pretty cool. And that's pretty much it. Next thing is kind of tidying up the base, cleaning up some of these lights. I don't like having all these lights on the floor. I'm gonna, now that I've got these guys, I'm gonna start making some more patterns and really working on getting the automation down of crafting things. One thing that I want to set up next in the mining world, and probably do it off camera, is just set up an ender chest system so that I can feed my ores that I get from my mine, my quarry, feed them straight into an ender chest, which would then go into my ME system back at the base, so that I don't have to do this manual step of coming here, grabbing everything manually, and then putting it into the ME system by hand. It really takes a while. Okay, let's grab that. I want to show you the auto smelting thing. It's really cool. Okay, let's put all of this in there. And we should go downstairs. We'll be able to go downstairs and see what is crafting. Or what is smelting, rather. Cool. So you can see it's already filling up with gold, iron, and copper. And once it finishes with that, then it will move those over here into the smelter and turn them into ingots. And the really cool thing about these factories is right now this is the lowest one, so it has 3 slots. I think I can upgrade this to advanced, or what is it? Let's find out what these are called. Factory, advanced, and then elite factories. So I think the advanced hold 5 and the elite hold 7 slots. And then in each of these types of factories you can actually add speed increasers, or actually it's over on the right here. Yeah, over here I think you can add a speed upgrade right there, which will be very handy for making these things go even faster. Oh, one thing I want to show you real quick. These mechanism factories, they have a configuration on the left hand here that I didn't know about. Basically, this is the bottom slot, and we're telling it to eject the red. No, wait, no, it's the back slot. So back, top, bottom. So the back slot I want to be the input slot, and then blue would be the output. So blue's on the bottom, so they come in from the back like so, smelt up, and then go down into these item translocators and ME interfaces to go back into the ME system. So that's pretty cool how those work. Indeed. Alright guys, well, like I said, Merry Christmas. This is pretty much going to be all for this episode. I really appreciate you joining. Can't wait to do even more things and show you guys what happens in the meantime. Take care. Merry Christmas. Bye-bye.